Take this little creature with you. Are you gonna go? Come on. Well, hello, as we got rid of everyone. I believe this is our 20th episode of the Metaphysical Corner. Notice I have no book with me today or anything. I've had an extremely busy 2 days doing stuff around the house, and but I think it might be a good time before we move further to kind of recapitulate where we're at. In other words, let's recover some ground and understand, because this whole concept, the whole subject of metaphysical thinking, and as it relates to consciousness and the universe, and to quantum mechanics or quantum engineering, quantum physics, is so involved, it's easy to get lost. It really is, because it's a field that's still being discovered. There's so much, and it's easy to forget. It reminds me of math in that what happens, you got to learn, math before simple addition, subtraction before you can do fractions before you do algebra before you do geometry and the like. Well, it's kind of the same thing here. With metaphysics, what it boils down to, as we've said more or less in the beginning, it's above. Meta means above and beyond. In other words, the normal physics, but there's stuff that physics. How can I put this? There's stuff that physics that exposes but doesn't explain, or it can't. I wonder to myself, when you go to and I've done this. If I turn the camera on, you would see a whole bunch of stuff. Books about knowledge, but for all the knowledge that we have, wow, there's so much we don't know. I'm gonna get one here. I'm gonna go get one. This one is really one of the more interesting of them, and I hope you can see it. Very thick book, meaty book. It's called The Molecules of Life: Physical and Chemical Principles. And I've read most of this, and it basically, it gets pretty damn heavy, from a technical standpoint or viewpoint. But you will not find a word in here, or a sentence, or paragraph about anything metaphysical-wise in relationship to the same stuff. The molecules of life. Well, where does life come from? Where does that consciousness come from? Why is there no mention here of meridians? Why is there no mention of, for example, auras? Which, there's no denying auras. But yet you talk to the vast majority of medical doctors, and they'll look at you like, which doctor did you go see? I'll say, personally, I think it's kind of, I know there are many reasons why. It's it's not having an open mind. It's not having it's being so bent on the scientific and the math that you can't see the forest for the trees, so to speak. I think that's really what it boils down to. If you would just open your mind and listen to what some of the other stuff that is out there, and not dismiss it as BS, which a lot of them would, then you come to realize there's something more. In the classes I have taken, and I've taken so many over the years, looking at it from, not only with chemistry or biochemistry, but even math, physics, science. I've always looked at it with this, in the back of my mind, it just kept saying, there's more. There's more. This, not that what's here isn't true. It is. But there's more. And that's where the metaphysics comes in. You know, okay. Let me give you one example. Back, actually in the late 1800s and early 1900s, I may have mentioned this before, so forgive me. There were actually homeopathic hospitals. That's what they specialized in. Now, for those of you who don't know, homeopathic is, it's where they find a herb or something similar that treats a certain condition, but you don't take the herb or you don't eat it. What they do is they make basically a concoction of it. And then they dilute it, and then they dilute it, and then they, initially used whatever it was that was in there, be the leaves or the bark or whatever. They would dilute it to the point where, like, literally only one molecule out of 10 billion were left in the elixir or whatever it is, tincture or whatever. And this is what you took if you as a homeopathic medicine. Now, immediately, medical, or within a short period of time, medical doctors are saying, well, how could just taking something that has 1 out of 10 billion, or whatever the number was, molecules be effective? That there's an answer. See, this is where they don't get it. Like with meridians and with chakras, they don't get that the universe is totally energy based. Once you know this, realize this, and accept it as fact, it opens up a whole new world. And with homeopathic medicine, that's exactly what happens. The energy of the plant that was diluted is still there. The actual material of it is not, the energy of it is. And that is what, when you take works on whatever needs to be worked on. I mean, the fact is, today's medicine, don't get me wrong, people are living longer than ever. But how, it's, gee whiz, if people lived, if the technology existed where people could live to 150 all the time, but let's say once you got to be 100, the last 50 years, you were basically an invalid, couldn't do anything, would it be worth it? I don't know about you, but I don't want to be here forever. I'd like to be here for a long time if I have the same energy, I don't want to be an invalid for the last 50 years of my life. So, at any rate, there's no doubt medical sciences help people, and when people are living far longer than they ever have. And but how they're doing it, I don't agree with. There's this thing called Big Pharma. There is, for example, it's said there's cures for cancer out there, but there's so much money being made off of chemotherapy, and radiation, that they will never allow these cures to be to get out there because the loss of mind. You want to know why? There's times I will get philosophical, and I will tell you, if you want to know why things are the way they are, follow the money. Look at the pharmaceutical companies. It's outrageous, and it's so needless. If you and I understand. Most, not all, but most of medical, or your doctor writes your prescription, and people are part of the problem. Make no mistake about it. You don't feel well, you go to the doctor, you want the doctor to make you feel better. If you don't walk out with a prescription, you feel you've been cheated, you feel like you're not going to be taken care of. The fact is that the earth can take care of you 90%, with 90% of what it has, and you really don't need all those, man-made chemicals. Now, I'm not, this penicillin. Don't get me wrong, penicillin is a wonderful thing. Except it's been way, 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 way overused. Ever seen and how about the commercials on TV where they come out with a new drug for whatever, and they give the list of the side effects. The list is so long that they take excuse me. It takes a minute, even though the guy's on it really fast, blah, 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 yeah. I love the one, may give you suicidal thoughts. Let's get it, let's do it. I don't want to kill myself, let's give me this thing. Why on the earth would FDA ever approve a drug that would give you suicidal thoughts? Think about that just for a minute. Makes no sense to me. The fact is that the majority, I'm not saying all, once again, there are cures out there. But the vast majority of, pharmaceuticals create, they treat the symptom, not the cure, not the cause. Whereas all your alternative medicines tend to, work on the issue. For example, the big one is high blood pressure. I don't know how many Americans, millions and millions and millions, are on some type of high blood pressure medication. Most of them basically, work, especially if they're like water pills and the like, they work by, making you release more water. They're water pills, basically. And yes, it has the effect. It has a desired effect. The blood pressure will lower. But what is causing it to be high to begin with? Very few, if any, high blood pressure medications actually work on the cause. No, they make the symptom better. Look at the over-the-counter medication for colds and flus. Your immune system is pretty freaking awesome. It knows what to do. And so you're miserable. Yes, you are. You get a cold or the flu. I know my wife Valerie had the flu, about a month and a half, 2 months ago. And this poor girl was sick. And I hate watching her go through that, or I hate watching anyone go through that, but especially your wife. But I still sat there, and it was interesting to watch her go through this, because the symptom, when a person is in misery, your nose is running, or you have a cough, or especially the fever and the muscle aches. And what's the first thing you want to do? You want to take, aspirin or medication or something to relieve the pain or relieve the congestion. It's actually the worst thing you could do. Your body knows what to do. Those fevers you get during colds and flu is your body knows that the bacteria, and especially the viruses causing this, can't stand the heat. The heat will kill them. So those fevers have a purpose. The only time that it gets where with a fever, it might get iffy, is if you're over like 106 degrees, at any length of time, then that becomes an issue. I mean, I don't get it wrong, if I am in a car accident and my leg breaks in 3 places, homeopathic medication ain't gonna help you too much. Yeah, it's not going to reset the leg. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, allotropic, medicine, which is the medicine we have today, has its place and its job. For stuff like broken legs, or someone really needs brain surgery, because of a tumor. But it's not the answer to everything. There are other answers out there, and that's what this is. Once again, with the healing, there's energy healing. My ex-wife is a Reiki master, And I was with her when she learned this, and I was fascinated. And I let her Reiki me more than a few times. Whenever I had an issue, whatever it was, none of them serious, thank God. And I'm telling you, this stuff works. Oh boy, it works. I can't explain how it works or why it works, but it does. It's energy healing. In fact, she would tell me, she would go to do a Reiki procedure on somebody, and they would say, "Oh, what religion is this?" And my wife never knew it at the time. My wife never knew what to tell her, except to say it's not a religion at all. It's energy healing, and people have a problem with that. They think it's got to be something supernatural based, or it's got to be some offshoot religion or something. Uh, and speaking of that, my son and I were talking about, different. We've been talking about a lot of things. He's 11. He's really learning, and I love him to death. And we were talking about American Indians. I said, let me tell you. I said, the Indian, or I say Indian. I don't mean Indian over as country Indian, but Native American Indians. I said this was a group of people who understood. I mean, they're entirely pagan, and in that, they're earth based, natural cures, that type of thing, and they knew more about this type of stuff. They knew more about metaphysics than we ever will, or I shouldn't say we ever will, but then it's going to take a long time to catch up to them because they used a lot of metaphysics, whether we realize it or not. Very nature based medications and the like. And it works. So anyway, I just and we were talking, and more. I just want to close this up. Like a couple more things, just like a recapitulation of where we're at as far as the consciousness, the nature of reality, what it really is. We talked about, and we're going to talk a lot more about the quantum end of things. That we are not what we really think we are. We really may not exist. We're going to talk about quantum quite a bit because it is, one of the ultimate answers. And I sometimes wonder to myself, 20, 30 years, 50 years from now, where it will be. I just can't help but wonder. Will we finally get out the, will we wake up? Will the average person wake up? I hope so. I think metaphysics and like alternative medicine has gone through periods of great standing and then being shot down, and it seems to be on the upsurge again, and that's good. But I just hope it doesn't get shot back down again. But there's so much more to all this. Do we have a soul? Yeah, we have a soul or spirit, or I don't care what you call it, whatever. And I've said this before. I have 3 of the most wonderful dogs in the world, and I am convinced. I have looked at these guys. I have felt the love for them. My little dog Princess. There's times when she's just laying next to me. I tell you what, this is very personal. When I go to bed, she loves to lay up against me, and she'll lay up against either my butt or my upper legs. And I lay on my side, so I'm facing away, so she lays up against me. And I swear, I wish I could tell you the feeling that gives me, as far as I can almost feel it in my heart. I can almost feel my heart like being happy. I know she loves me tremendously. I love her. I mean, oh my God, I'm just giving you an example with her. That these 3 have a consciousness and a soul. And I really believe the consciousness and the soul are linked. They're one and the same. Can't have one without the other, so to speak. Now maybe, just maybe, I have, I think there is an evolutionary path for soul development, if you will. That fact that if dogs, cats, or other animals have souls, is it maybe are they limited just because of their brain here on Earth? Or maybe are they not as advanced as of a being, soul-wise, as we are as humans? And in other words, maybe we were all a dog once, so to speak, and we have worked our way up through soul development and previous lives experience. No, I'm not saying this is the way it is. I don't know. But think about it, it makes a little bit of sense. It seems believable. And one thing, I want to close this off by saying one thing. As you go on your own discovery of life and all the good stuff, metaphysical or not, I've always tried to keep a few things in mind. And one thing I do like is, it's another thing, as I've gotten older, I have found that many of the old sayings are true, the oldest ones. But one of them I like is, if you cannot disprove something beyond the shadow of a doubt as being false, then you must, by logic, take into account that it exists and is possible. Let me say it one more time so you understand, because I think it's that important. Unless you can prove something beyond the shadow of a doubt, that something doesn't if something is wrong or something isn't valid, then you must take into account the possibility that it exists or existed and is or was real at one time. So, once again, that's called being open-minded, so to speak. So anyway, I will end it with that. We will pick up on the next show. Don't forget to like us on Facebook if you haven't. I enjoyed it. I hope I'm teaching you something. I do enjoy this, and we'll go from there. Thank you.